Kakadosh Boker Tov. We're continuing on Daf Kav Daled Amud Aleph 24a1. So if you remember, we were just saying that if it wasn't an inyan, if the pasuk was not to do with eating, so we're going to place it for benefiting. And we said that just like a chatat, we have to burn the chatat. So too, we wanted to learn to do with anything of isurim shebat Torah, that we should also burn it. So the pasuk comes and says, only bakodesh v'yesh tisaref, bakodesh v'yisrefa, and not any other isurim shebat Torah is going to be b'yisrefa. That's where we finished off yesterday. So says the Gemara, v'hai bakodesh v'yesh tisaref lehach yudata. Are you going to tell me that this bakodesh v'yesh tisaref is coming to teach you that chametz on Pesach and shor niskal is a surim bana'ah? You're not allowed to benefit from chametz on Pesach or an ox that gores and kills a human being. You need it for Rabbi Shimon. The Tana is learned to the Braita. Rabbi Shimon says, "Bakodesh v'yesh tisaref." What does it mean, bakodesh v'yesh tisaref? Limed al chatat shesorfin ota bakodesh. It's going to teach us about a chatat psula, that you have to burn it in the azara. Ve'en li ela zo bilvad, but I only know a chatat psula. Psule kodshe kadashim ve'mureh kadashim kalim. How do we know that other type of kodshe kadashim or the emurim, the limbs of kadashim kalim that become tmeim? How do we know also that you have to burn it? Tamulomar vechol bakodesh v'yesh tisaref. Anything which is holy, you have to burn. So from here, the Gemara is coming and the Gemara is saying that basically anything which becomes tameh, which belongs to the category of kodesh kadashim or of the emurim of kadashim kalim, which are the limbs of kadashim kalim, that they become tmeim, you have to burn it. That's where we learn it. Where do you learn it from? Bakodesh v'yesh tisaref. So Amalei, so the Chacham comes and he tells us, Shmuel bar Nachmani, Rabbi Yonatan Rabach me'ikra kamaleh. He says, Rabbi Yochanan, your rabbi, he learned it from this pasuk. Ve'im yivater mi besar miluim min alechem ad haboker. If there was left over from besar miluim and from the lechem, from the breads until the morning, so you're going to burn it in the fire, right? You're not going to eat it because it's kodesh. What does it mean that you're not going to eat it? He says, is coming to teach you lo yachel. Right? Obviously, you're not allowed to eat it. Right? You're not allowed to eat this. So he says, if you don't need it for itself, because we already know that notar, you're not allowed to eat notar. If it's already written, you have to burn the notar in a fire. So obviously, you're not allowed to eat it. So he says, so put it for other yisurim in the Torah. For example, chametz and pesach shor niskal. Now, if it's not for achila, but you already know you're not allowed to eat the chametz on Pesach, and you already know you're not allowed to eat the shor niskal, so so place it for yisur of benefiting, of hana'ah. Ima kam bisrefa, just like over here, it's going to be bisrefa by notar, so to all the yisurim but Torah should be bisrefa. Amarkra, the pasuk says notar, only the notar you have to burn in the fire. Right? Notar bisrefa. But everything else, but you don't have to burn by the fire, whether it's going to be the shor niskal or chametz and pesach. So says the Gemara, are you going to tell me that this lo yachel is coming to teach you the yisur of chametz and pesach and shor niskal, that you're not allowed to benefit from it? We need it for Rabbi Elazar. The Amar Rabbi Elazar says Rabbi Elazar, lo yachel ki kodesh hu, you shouldn't eat it because it's ki kodesh hu, it's kodesh, which means it's extra. Kol shebe kodesh pasul, anything which kodesh kadashim is becomes pasul. Ba katuv liten lo ta'aseh al achilato. So now you have also a negative commandment on eating it, which means you have an extra lo ta'aseh, an extra negative commandment, right, from eating it. Because if it's going to be from the sarafta, from burning it, I wouldn't know that it's a negative commandment. Remember, the difference between a negative commandment and a positive commandment is a negative commandment, many times you have lashes, which you don't have on a positive commandment. Okay? So on a positive commandment, you never get lashes. On a negative commandment, you do get lashes. Okay? So he says, Amar Abaye, Abaye comes and he says, Leolam, really be'emet, the mekor of chametz, right, on Pesach and shor niskal is mikra kama, from the first pasuk. What does it mean? The first pasuk said, "V'chol chatat asher yuva midama elo el moel lechaber lo ta'achar b'yesh tisaref." The epuch, but you have to switch the learning of Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, which means I'm not going to learn from Bayesh Tisaref, right? Why? Because these words I need it for Chatap Psula, but I have to learn it from the words of Lo Te'achel. The Lichtov Bayesh Tisaref, because all you have to write down is you're going to burn it in a fire, and then you don't have to write down Lo Te'achel, that you're not allowed to eat it. Obviously, if you have to burn it in a fire, you're not allowed to eat it. Matal Mulomar Lo Te'achel, so what does it come to teach you Lo Te'achel? Im eno inyan legufo, if you don't need it for itself, the nafka lemidir belazar, because you already learned from Belazar. Teneu inyan lechol yisurin shebatorah, so learn for everything to do with the Torah. And if it's not to do with achila, v'imenu inyan lachila, so give it to yisur hana. Ma kan bisrefa, just like over here, it's going to be in serefa. Af kol yisurin shebatorah bisrefa, so it should always be in serefa. Amarka, and therefore the pasuk says hanotar v'serafta et hanotar, the extra hanotar. Why do you have to just say v'serafta ba'esh, serafto ba'esh? Why do you say v'serafta et hanotar ba'esh? Hanotar is extra. Why is it extra? Hanotar b'serfa ve'en kol yisurin shebatorah b'serfa. Only the notar is b'serfa, but not all the other yisurin shebatorah is going to be b'serfa. Okay? So Amale Rav Papa l'Abaye, says Rav Papa to Abaye, are we going to say now that when it says the word lo te'achel, right, which is coming to come and teach you the love for itself, the imid, right, which means the chatat that it's brought inside, which it wasn't supposed to be. The imid Rabbi Elazar, as if you're going to tell me it's Rabbi Elazar, en lokin Allah shebiklalut. You don't get, right, according to Rabbi Elazar, you do not get lashes on a lav, on a negative commandment, right? Shebichlalut. What does it mean bichlalut here? It's like a general lav, which prohibits certain things, like a group of things. Meaning, when you're going to get lashes, you would only get lashes on something which is specific. If it's a specific lo ta'aseh, negative commandment. If it's a general lo ta'aseh, which this is a general one with the thing, lo yachel ki kodoshu, which means that anything which is kodshim, that becomes pasul, you're not allowed to eat. So therefore, in such a case, what happens is that since it's a general one, so therefore, that's why you don't get lashes. So Elam Rav Papa, but rather Rav Papa comes and he says, you're right. Mehacha, you learn it from over here. What does it mean from over here? It says, Ve'abasar asheriga bechol tameh lo yachel ba'esh yisaref. The basar, the flesh, which is going to touch anything which is tameh, lo yachel, don't eat it, ba'esh yisaref, because it's going to be burnt in fire. She'en tu mulomar lo yachel. What does it come and teach you lo yachel? Mata mulomar lo yachel. Imenu yalegufo. If it's not going to be for itself, danaf kalemi kavachomer maaser akal, because we learn it from a kavachomer from maaser. Umma maaser akal, just like maaser akal. Amra Torah, the Torah says lo biyarti mimenu betameh, that you're not going to come and burn it when it's tameh. Besar kodesh achamulo kol sheken. Besar kodesh, which is more than notar, isn't it kol sheken, that if it becomes tameh, you're not allowed to eat it? Which means like this: notar is the leftovers. Notar is a lower level of basar kodesh that became tameh. Basar kodesh, holy korbanot that become tameh, is a higher level than notar. So he says, isn't it kol sheken, you're not allowed to eat it? V'chiteim, and if you're going to tell me that you can't learn it from a kal v'chomer, why not? En mazirim minadin. En mazirim minadin means that we don't learn azara, a warning, from a kal v'chomer. So if you had a nazara, a warning on eating basar kodesh tameh, if we would have learned it from a kal v'chomer, there would never be there would never be lashes. So therefore, that's why you say that lo yachel is extra, because it's a hekesha, it's a hekesh, a juxtaposition, a close proximity. It's brought close together. Tichtiv, as it says in the pasuk, lo tuchal le'echol bisharecha ma'asad deganecha tiroshecha v'tzerecha v'chol bekarecha v'tzonecha. It says you're not allowed to eat in your gates ma'asad deganecha, them right from your grains or from your oil or from your olives, right? It says from your wine. So mata muloma, what does it mean there when it says there? Basically, we're making a kesh between the darim and the davot, which means a korban shlamim to maaser sheni, to teach you just like you're not allowed to eat maaser sheni that becomes tameh, so too you're not allowed to eat besar kodesh which becomes tameh. So the word lo yachel is extra. So mata muloma lo yachel, what does it mean? Come and teach you lo yachel, you're not allowed to eat it. If you don't eat it for itself, learn it for any of the Yisurin in the Torah. And if it's not for eating it, because you already know you're not allowed to eat it, so give it for Yisudana, for benefiting. Ima can be srifa. So I would have thought that you have to burn it as well. Just like by over here, it's written by Ashi Saref, you have to burn it in a fire, so to all Yisurin Shematar, you have to burn it in a fire. Amar Kra, it says in the pasuk, notar. You have to start the notar ba'esh. You're only going to burn the notar. Notar b'isrefa ve'en kol yitzrun b'torah b'isrefa. So says the Gemara, Amar le Ravina le Ravashi, says Ravina to Ravashi, ve'ema, why don't I just say that the word lo yachel is la'avor lav b'shnei lavin? Maybe it's going to be lo yachel, you have two negative commandments. Right? Lami Abaye, didn't Abaye say, achal putita, if a person eats a type of a sheretz, he's going to get 4 lashes? Nimala loke chamesh, if he eats a nimala, he's going to get 5 lashes? Why? Because there's 2 lavim, which are generals, and 3 lavim on sheretz aretz, which means the more negative commandments that you have, the more loves that you have, the more groups of lashes you would have. So instead of coming and telling you it's extra and using it for something else, I'm just going to say you're going to get an extra set of lashes, and that's it, because it's another lav. Kavdalid amubet. Sir'ah, if a person is going to eat that sir'ah, which is a hornet, he's going to get 6 lashes. So one more time, if a person eats a nimala, an ant, they get 5 lashes, 5 sets of lashes, not 5 lashes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sets of 39 lashes. That's a lot of lashes. You understand? That's why I still remember until today, the COR of Canada, they went and they prohibited broccoli in Toronto. My uncle, he owned all-you-can-eat Chinese restaurant. Now, we know that broccoli is one of their main dishes. Yeah, how could you have a Chinese restaurant without broccoli? So what happened is that they went and they gave a whole seminar, and all the owners were there, and many owners, they were upset. What, no broccoli, this, that, they were all upset. So they went and they told them like this. They said, what's worse, eating pig or eating bugs? So now 99.99999% of Jews will tell you eating pig, correct?
But it's the other one.
Yeah, but it's the other way around. What does that mean? When you eat a kezait of pig, you're over 1 avera. If you ate 1 ant, right, or 1 bug, 1 fly, you're over 5 averot. 5 averot.
I heard
what's worse.
I heard it's 6. I heard it's 6 or 7 averot, Rav. It's 5 plus 2.
It's only if it's a hornet. You just read it right now. If it's a hornet, it's 6. If it's a nimala, if it's an ant, it's only 5. Okay, tumano. Yeah, 5. Khamsa. Yeah. So he comes and he says, right, you get 5. So therefore, some people, they come and they say, no, Rabbi, I go to eat at non-kosher restaurants, but I don't have the meat. I only eat a salad. I was going to tell them you should have eaten the pork. You eat a salad that nobody checked, and now you're going to tell me there's no bugs there. The bugs is worse than the non-kosher. But the only thing is, if you tell them that, so then they'll completely go off. You understand? So I'm not allowed to tell them that. But really, many times I think to myself, what does it help? They're only coming and eating a salad. What is it? A salad could be worse, much worse than actually eating the non-kosher. You understand? But people don't realize that. So because of that, they all agreed. They realized it. They showed it to them in the Torah. They showed it to them in the Gemara. That's what we just learned. And now all of a sudden, their hashkafa changes. So now they're going to go to a restaurant. They're going to have a non-kosher restaurant. They're going to eat a salad. Are you crazy? That's what's written right here. 5 averot on every single bug. You have 1 fly there. They're going to tell you, what's the big deal? It's good protein. I remember we were in charge of hashkacha in a Pesach hotel. And we used to open up the dried apricots. So the dried apricots, we used to open up and we used to find bugs. I took pictures of them. And I used to show them. People would never believe me. What, dried apricots and bugs? Yeah, but they were the fresh ones. They're not the dried ones. They're basically apricots. You would open it up and you would have bugs in there. So I remember the Goya, we would come, we would show it to her. She used to come, she used to eat the bug. She said, why? It's good protein. You understand? We don't hold these things. You understand? For us, you're not allowed to eat bugs. That's it. You are what you eat. You understand? Very, very important. Right? You eat bugs, you are a bug. Just a big one instead of a small one. You understand? There's no difference. So therefore, what happens is that a person has to remember this. And therefore, not because right now he's going to come and he's going to say, you know what, I could go to non-kosher, but I'm just going to have a salad. A salad could be much worse. Okay? Very important to know. So says the Gemara, Amalei, so said Ravashi to Ravina, Kol heicha deika lemidrash tarshinan, velo mukmina belav yetereh. If I have a choice to make a dirasha on something else, or to start adding lavin, negative commandments, I would always make the drasha, and I wouldn't start adding negative commandments. And therefore, by us, instead of coming and adding a second negative commandment, it would have been preferable to say that the lo yachel, which was superfluous, which was extra, should come and teach you that you're not allowed to benefit from chametz and pesach or shor niskal, instead of coming and saying that you have two negative commandments by the other thing as well. Fine. Says the Gemara, right? So why do I need the first part of the pasuk? The first part of the pasuk said, the basar, which is any person that's tameh is going to touch, you're not allowed to eat it. Why do I need it? Obviously, so it says lerabot etzim. It's coming to include the wood on the mizbeach, right? Or the levuna, the frankincense, which is part of the ketoret, right? That they are going to be mekabel tumat ochlin, even though they themselves are not food. Which means, remember, in order to get tum'ah, you need to be a food. Here, even though it's not a food, the wood on the mizbeach or the frankincense in the ketoret also receives tum'ah. The abasar kol tahor yochal basar. What do we add in then in drasha when it says that the meat, everything of pure, right? You're going to come and it's going to include. So it says lamali. Why do I need it? So he says you need it because lerabot emurin, to include the emurin, all the different limbs. Okay. So emurin mehatam nafkar. You're going to tell me that the emurin, the limbs, are going to learn it from there? Titania, we learned in a Braita, we're going to learn from somewhere else. So it comes out that if somebody's going to be tameh and he's going to eat from the emurim, right, it's going to be the what? That it's going to be a karet. So says the Gemara, no. Hata metumata guf bekaret. There, the person is tameh. So if the person is tameh and he's eating it, there you're right. There it's karet. Here we're talking about tumat basar. The person is pure. The meat is impure. So therefore, there it's only a lav. It's a negative commandment. It's not karet. Okay, so there's a difference. Who's tameh? Is the meat tameh or the person tameh? If the person is tameh and he's eating kosher and good, pure meat, that's a karet. But if the person is tahor and the meat is tameh, so then it's only a lav. It's a negative commandment. There's no karet. Okay. So says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Yavu, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yavu, name of Yochanan. All the yisurin of the Torah, you only get lashes if you eat it in the way that you normally eat it. Okay? Lemiute mai, what does that come to exclude? Amar Shimi Barash lemiute shimachal chelev chai. This comes to exclude that if you're going to eat chelev chai, which means prohibited fats which are not cooked, you're going to be patur, because it's not normal to eat prohibited fats. Right? It's not normal to eat fats when it's raw like that. You have to cook it. Or if you want, you could say, it's not a derech achilatan, derech hanatan, the way that you normally benefit from it. What is coming to exclude? If you place the prohibited fats of a shor niskal, of an ox that was stoned, and you put it on top of a wound of yours, in order for the refuah, you're going to be patur. Because it's not normal to do it that way. And kol sheken or chel chelev chai, kol sheken, if you actually come and you are going to eat chelev chai, you're going to be patur from lashes. Because it's not normal to benefit. Itman nami was stated also. Amar Ravach bar Avia Amar Ravasi Amar Yochanan says Ravach bar Avia in the name of Ravasi the name of Yochanan. Henia chelet shor niskal gemar tukuto. If you actually place the fats of a shor niskal, of an ox which is going to be stoned, on top of your wound, patur, you're going to be exempt. Because all the yisurin in the Torah, you're only going to get lashes. So Amar Rabbi Zera says Rabbi Zera, we also learned this in a Mishnah. You don't get lashes, the 40 lashes, mishum orla, because of orla. Only something which comes out of zaitim and anavim, the grapes and the olives. But if it comes from strawberries, figs, and pomegranates, lo, you don't. Why not? My tama, what's the reasoning? Why not? But it's not normal, right? Which means any type of drinkings from the fruits, except for olives and grapes, which are the 5 fruits of Israel, it's not considered derech hana'atam. That's what Rashi says. Which means, that's why, by the way, you should know, even in Shabbat, the 5, it was only from the 5 fruits of Eretz Yisrael, which are the olives and the grapes, right? Those are the only 2 things which is normal to have drinks coming from it. Right nowadays, it's true. Everyone has pomegranate juice and apple juice and orange juice and pineapple juice and all the millions of juices that they have once upon a time. The main juices was always olive oil. So anything of oil that comes from the olive, or wine, which comes from the grapes. Those were the ones which is 100% normal for doing that. Okay, all the rest was not normal. Okay, so it says, so Amalei Abaye says, I understand if it's going to teach you the actual fruit in itself, but you're not eating the actual fruit. Shapir, so then it makes sense, right? That you're not going to get lashes for it. But here in this case, where you're drinking the fruits, mishum de ze'ab, the reason why is because you're only getting just ze'ab alma. You're getting like the sweat of it, which means the liquid of it, right? But not the actual fruit in itself. And that's why there's no deen of isur or la. Okay? So you can't bring me a proof that you're not going to get lashes on hana, which is not normal, because it's not the actual fruit. It's only like the liquid of the fruit. So it's not the actual fruit in itself. So says the Gemara, Abaye says, Hakol modim, everyone agrees. Right? That means even according to the second language of Rabbi Avu, Bekilei Kerem, to do within the vineyards, Shelokin alein afilu shelo kederech hanatan. You're going to get lashes even if it's not going to be the derech hana'ah. My tama, what's reasoning? Mishum delo ketiv behu achila, but it's not written achila. So therefore, since it's not written over there achila, that's why, because it's not written lo yachel. So because of that, you get it even on hana'ah, which is not the normal way of doing it. That's why you get lashes. Even if it's not the normal way of eating it or benefiting from it, you will get lashes. So Meitvei, so we ask a question. Isi ben Yuda Omer, Isi ben Yuda says, Minay lebasar v'chalav shu asur. How do we know that you're not allowed to benefit from basar v'chalav? Ne'emar kan, it's written, Kiam kadosh ata, that it's your holy nation. Ne'emar le'alan, and it's written over there, V'anshe kodesh tiyun, right? That's from the basar v'sadeh terefa lo tochelu, which means, right, what does this mean? V'anshe kodesh tiyun. Ma le'halan afsur, just like over here, it's going to be asur. Afkan asur, so to here, it's going to be asur b'achila. But that's only in eating. Bana minayin. How do we know also that in mana it's going to be the same thing? So Amarta kavachomer, he said it's a kavachomer. Uma orla shelo nevda ba'avera asur bana, just like by orla, which was not done in avera, it's still going to be asur bana. Basar v'chalav shenevda bo avera, basar v'chalav, which was done in avera in it. Eno din shia asur bana, shouldn't it be asur bana? So says the Gemara, which means everyone understood the kavachomer. One more time. Right? We just said like this. It says, how do we know that basar v'chalav is asur in eating? So it says, Kiam kadosh ata, you are a holy nation. Lo tavasher gedi b'chalev imo, you're not allowed to cook me the milk. Okay, v'ne'emar le'alan, it's written by terefot, v'anshe kodesh tiyuni, that you guys are a holy nation. V'asar basar terefa lo tochel, you're not allowed to eat the terefa. So from the fact that it says am kadosh and anshe kodesh, we make a gezerah shava, just like over there by a terefa, it's asur ba'achila. So to basar v'chalav, it's asur ba'achila. But he says, ve'enli, but that's only by achila, by eating. How do we know hana? So he says it's kavachomer. Just like orla, which there's no avera done, right? When you plant orla. When you plant orla is the first 3 years that you're allowed to benefit from a tree. So just like by orla, when you plant it, it's asur bana. Basar v'chalav, that you did do an avera, but you cooked meat and milk. For sure it should be asur bana. You're not allowed to benefit from it. So says the Gemara, that's not true. Why? Kafei Amud Aleph on the top. Ma le'orla sheken lo hayta la'ashat kosher. Orla was never permitted. Meaning orla, when you plant it, automatically it starts 3 years and you're not allowed to benefit from it. So by basar v'chalav, hayta la'ashat kosher, it did have shat kosher, which means you were able to benefit from it. So therefore, it says the Gemara, chametz pesach luchiach. What about chametz pesach? Chametz at the beginning, you're allowed to benefit from chametz. Only on pesach is it prohibited. And therefore, chametz pesach hayta la'ashat kosher, and it's still going to be asur bana, and then we continue going back and forth from chametz and pesach and going back and forth. Okay, we'll continue Bezrat Hashem tomorrow.